All right, let's give this a try. Welcome back to SOS. I'm BA.
Sippy.
And
Hello.
hopefully we don't get shut down.
Hope not.
Running this thing. Hopefully we don't get shut down.
Mm-mm.
All right, so welcome.
We got
Rachel.
Sean.
Rachel, how you doing?
Rachel.
Sean.
Yay.
We got Dad on YouTube. Tim. Who else we got? I think we're running. We're running good. Just there we go. All right, we got Rage. John.
You're a towel.
Ray.
Joseph. We already said
Tim.
Tim.
Yep.
Fireman. Aidenair. Sergeant Riley. Is it Riley? Trey. Gary. Arkansas.
It's running a lot smoother tonight. I like that.
I hope so.
It's definitely the internet's running a lot smoother tonight. Got NPC. Yeah, it's good that everything's running smoother tonight.
Iron, Tony,
to do
Logan,
this.
Organic. Texan. Caleb.
Is that?
See what a 3.
I know what. Dogs, you are picking the wrong time to play.
Now he wants to play.
All right, no one wants to play right now, dogs. Go on.
Corsair,
Bandit.
DJ.
Sit.
Jesse.
They're gonna
Shove
start.
him in
I
the
don't want.
basement.
Band of the red hand. Thank you.
What's yours, Ted?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Much love.
I know a lot of you out there either. I don't know which way a lot of folks go when they, the decision makings of hey C103. I don't know how many of you voted for who, and I'm not gonna be that guy that does all that crap tonight. I'm just gonna be here with you guys and tell you that it's probably a good idea to prep and be ready for the coming events. And Band of the Red Hand.
Band of the Red Hand.
Daggum.
Money at the new casino. Yeah, Bristol, baby. Woo!
Bristol, baby.
Thank you very much.
Is there going to be a new Band of the Red Hand? Thank you. Boom. I was going to ask. Did that get approved?
Yes.
Did that get? It did. The Hard Rock Casino.
Casino, yeah.
It's going to be a thing. That's crazy.
Spartan.
That's crazy, man. I'm telling you, it's nuts. Okay, so the thing is, I think that for tonight, I think what the main focus here should be. We don't know, or the uncertainty, right? I mean, me and the wife have sat here. We got word today that that Joe Biden was elected the 46th president, and we were sitting here saying, well, what does this mean, and what should we do now, and the unforeseen. And I'm asking these questions out loud to the wife, and but I'm not really expecting her to answer my question. I'm just sort of asking questions.
I said get like 5 Rottweilers, some German Shepherds, play them up.
Because
there you go.
Because here's the thing.
Country
one of his policy. I'm not going to sit here and rag on him. I'm just gonna point out some things. Is if you rewind, I mean, we had Obama and we had him as the VP at one point in time, and we had left and right. I mean, we were losing.
Hey, Cricket.
We were the gunfight was on. I mean, it was just crazy. Remember how crazy it was? It was chaotic, and it brought everybody to this point where we're like, well, I'm going to make sure I'm definitely prepared. And now you can almost, like, if they can slip stuff like the fraudulent voters and things underneath your nose.
Yet. They still got some processes.
I'm just saying, if they get away with certain things, they will go ahead and push for other things. And then, I mean, I wouldn't expect, like you were saying, you wouldn't expect Gestapo right away. You would it would be something gradual leading up to something that's
always
crazy.
An acclimated process.
But like I said, I was not going to get on here tonight to express my opinions of things like that. I was just the uncertainty of things you need to be prepared for.
Right.
It's kind of like if you rewind back and you remember all we need to protect ourselves is just a double barrel shotgun. We don't need pistols and rifles and stuff like that. Remember that? I know a lot of you probably remember those quotes from certain individuals, and now we're leading on to this chaos. And the major push from Joe was to raise taxes. That was number one on the
Why
list.
Why not? Thank you.
What? Thank you.
Boom.
Boom, 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 boom. Thank you.
Oh, go home.
But here's the thing, like, if you think about it, the raising taxes was one of them, and the collaboration with China was another thing, and all these different things that I'm concerned with, how the mandate push for mask and stay at home and lose your job and all that stuff. You realize that, like, I rolled into the school that my kids go to, and there was Joe Biden signs all over the place. So it means to tell me that, is it a possibility that teachers actually wanted? Did the school board actually take the money to put the signs out there? Did they work out a deal? Was that something that was on the list to? Well, you mean I can do live streaming lattes and teach kids from home, and I don't have to go in and actually physically deal with children anymore, and I could actually just do this from home and still get paid? Was that part of the agreement and deal? And then while the parents, they don't get the opportunity to work anymore, and they have to sit and physically do the schoolwork with the kids, and I still get paid for it, and the parents don't, and the parents lose their jobs because they're taking care of the kids so much, and they don't get to take their kids to school and go to work. You realize what I'm saying here? We're parents, we
don't even know what kind of curriculum they should be learning at
exactly.
what level.
It's like, congratulations. This is kind of like me telling the teachers, like, it would be like you telling the teachers, like, it's like, well, you know what?
Do you know how to do basic CPR correctly?
Well, here, you just perform all that trash on yourself. Here you go. Here's a book. You read it. You figure out how to do CPR. You know what I mean? All right. Who was that? Let me roll back down.
The Tech
Man. Thank you.
Boom. What's yours, Tech?
Boom. Thank you, Tech Man.
Thank you very much.
But if you think about it, it's like her as an ER nurse telling another individual, well, guess what? You get to stitch yourself today. Teach. Have one. Have a needle and some thread. There you go. Stitch it up. Get some. And it's like telling the parents, guess what? You have to teach all these different classes for a first grade, a second grade, a third grade, all in your house at the same time, same day. So I get to be the teach, and I get to teach 3 different grade categories, 3 different kids, all throughout the day, every day.
Why don't we make such complex
See what I mean?
Ways to add up numbers? I'm like, what happened to number columns?
While everyone else gets live streaming a latte.
I have to learn how to do a ones minus a tens and add up 7 to it. I'm like.
And then I'm sitting over here trying to figure out, how on earth am I supposed to get my job done today? I'm spending all this time doing this, and I'm like, well, where's my taxpayers' money going? I pay taxes. And then now they're talking about raising my taxes. They're going to raise my taxes. I'm still paying for all this trash, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it, but I'm paying for it. Well, why don't I just pull my kids out of school then and just homeschool them myself? There's no point in sending them to school anymore if they're not in school. See what I'm getting at? Now, I've got every right to be frustrated. So if anyone's offended by what I got to say, y'all can kick rocks. I don't care. I don't care if someone gets offended by what I have to say, because these are my kids, and this is the stuff that I have to deal with every single day. If you have kids and you have to deal with it, then you understand what I'm talking about. And then you probably are not offended at all. So you probably might join me in my rant. See what I mean? It's frustrating. It's very, very frustrating. See what I mean? It's very frustrating. spend every day. And I'm like, well, and you still have to call and check in your kids. That's the other most ridiculous thing. I feel like my kids are reporting for duty. I'm like,
They just want to spy what's in people's home. Is my
they
thing.
want to. They want
The
to spy.
virtual
It's Big
learning.
Brother. It's
Yeah.
Big freaking Brother. It's recording what's going on in your home, recording the atmosphere, seeing what your kids are like, seeing what you are like, learning more about you, getting to know you, getting to know all the things about you, and that's what frightens me. And then so many people accept this trash. They're like, I'm on that. I'm just
Or
going.
they're forced to, like California, you have to do virtual learning.
There's some places that have to do it. There's some places you could tell them to kick rocks. You don't have to do it. It's like, you just go right ahead and have fun with that. I got hung up on. It was pretty funny.
Hey, Moko.
I called the school board and I said something about it. I was complaining. I said, I was like, well, I told them my concerns about all this, and I was like, so, so while you guys can sit at home and do all this, I still have to go to and from the school. Thank you, Wayne. Boom, boom. Thank you. I still have to go to school. I still have to pick up folders with work and trash in it. Still have to take them home. I still have to go through all the packets with them while everyone else gets to stay at home and still get paid and still have a job while I have to stay. See what I mean? So I might as well homeschool. There's no point. Doesn't make any sense to me. Well, I explained all this to the lady at the school board. She hung up on me. She said, all right, that's enough. Click. She got offended. And hung up on me. It's ridiculous. You want to know why? Because I'm right. That's why she hung up on me. She had nothing else left to say to me. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Told you old girl hung up on me. It's pretty funny. Am I going on too long?
Yeah, I think so. 2 minutes is good amount.
What, are you thinking I'm offending people?
Mm-mm.
Am I all right?
I just think we got better things to talk about.
Oh, well, I'm sharing with them. But y'all can expect more of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. You're going to expect more of that. Get ready. Buckle your seatbelts, America, because that's what you're on the ride for.
Yeah.
You're going to jump in, and that's what you're going to get. You're going to get less jobs and more do it yourself. Pretty much. Well, everybody gets paid.
Yep.
You get to do all the work. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Moko.
Anyways, did you want to teach your class, or do you want me to discuss some more things?
I figure I'll let you catch your breath.
Well, I could.
Lower that blood pressure. Woo saw.
Would you stop it?
Woo
Just because I do this trash every single day with the kids, and I think to myself,
I do it too on my days
I'm
off.
just saying, I think to myself, well, while I'm doing this, I could just be homeschooling them permanently, but I don't.
Yeah.
I want them to
social
skills, but waiting
Hey,
for
cool, man.
stuff to open back up is ridiculous.
You can go ahead and do yours.
You want me to do some of mine?
You got your little book.
Check it out, guys, gals. Check it out. I put down some stuff because I'm concerned about the future, and I just assume a lot of you are concerned about the future too. And I listed this as civil defense because civil defense because we may be in for a strange time. I mean, we could be in for a civil war. We could be in for key words that get me shut down every single time. If I say the WAR or anything like that, I start to get shut down. So just bear with me if it starts to get a little glitchy while I talk. But you could be in for something like that. You could be in for, there is talks that Iran's already prancing in the street burning flags. I watched that the other day, and they're super excited, I guess. They're having parties over there and burning American flags left and right. And Iran's already talking about doing some kind of electromagnetic pulse type thing and shutting down the power grid and blah, blah. And there's a possibility of a very a very cold United States this year, and but the possibilities with there's so many things. There's so many things that people are saying, and Farmer's Almanac doesn't. This isn't Farmer's Almanac related. This is other relations. So what I was thinking and suggesting for folks right now is to focus on is uh, basically reducing your footprint as far as like what you're trying to push, what you're trying to say, the agenda that you carry yourself when you're online or in person. Your it's not the patriotism part. It's more of a trying to stay as low key as possible. Don't make it known, or try and find other forms or means. Pay for things in cash. Try and keep a low profile as far as the prepper related aspects go. Don't make yourself this target for when there is the event of labeling and tracking down and spying on individuals. Just make sure that you keep a low footprint. It's like try to get some things instead of using your card for every single item that you purchase, or you purchase everything online. Try to pay for some things on cash. Yes, very gray man, just gray man as far as footprint goes, as far as spending money. Because when you run your card, it's running your name, your address, your phone number. It's running everything that you're involved with, connecting it to you, and you're purchasing grenade components, or reloading supplies, or see what I mean. Just try and keep a low profile as far as stuff like that goes. Try and get stuff in person.
They'll even get you through your VA discount.
Yeah,
that's linked up big time.
Yeah, it is. Keep a low profile. Practice situational awareness. Not just the entering the dark alley kind of thing, but situational awareness as far as it's what you're doing and what other people are seeing. Try to keep a low profile. Odds and ends. You should probably. I wrote one down here for post collapse excursions, because in the event that we do go into this dark cloud of chaos and something does happen, you want to plan for excursions, and excursions also link to other things like I know I've said it before, but you can use items like phone books. When you get those phone books, don't just throw them in the fireplace and burn them. Take them, mark down some addresses and locations of warehouses and such, things that are going to get left behind during a chaotic event. You want to be able to restock your supplies, because here's the thing: stores and stuff like that will get raided and they won't get restocked because that just-in-time system. But then you can still have the possibility of restocking your supplies just by using a phone book and some addresses, and find your way around. There's even maps, I think, in some places for these things. But you can find most of that stuff online and just jot it down. Odds and ends to stock up on. We always talk about fuel and multiple means of cooking and stuff. You right?
Thank you, Joe.
One little conversation that I think I overheard the wife having with somebody else was alternative means of cooking. And there's so many different ways to cook. So I mean, you can cook something over a candle or whatever, but no one ever thinks about the redundancy of cooking. And it's like having that camp stove that takes propane, having that camp stove that takes the little gas bottles. Hang on, let me grab this little one
I
right
thought it
here.
was interesting seeing other people how they take aluminum foil and like steam bake their cakes.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Or you just put it in that pan and throw aluminum foil over on top, and the steam will cook it up. So
on the subject, let me just grab this real quick.
All right, you have 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Girlfriend, stop. I got like this.
Boom.
See, it's kind of like, it's something simple like this thing here. And yeah, I just had it sitting over here. This is one of the going gear small ones. I thought this was kind of neat for an example. So it has the case, and there's this guy here. Whoop, that's upside down. Flip this around, and it has an ignition. This is kind of neat. So it screws right on, right?
Yeah.
I know I've showed this before, but
It's been a while.
it's been a while. But I've got another one down there. It's kind of neat as well. Screw it on like that. And it's got this, right here, sort of rotated around like that. And see, there's your base. There's your base for setting stuff. And you can also flip these out like this, right? Just like that. And you've got a little bit more space there.
Yeah.
And out of that process, let's see, kind of move that there. That guy there. There we go. And then give it a little bit of...
I don't know if you're super checking through. Hope the move's going good, cool hand.
Should have some gas in it.
Unless you accidentally left it on.
I probably left it on. Did I leave it on?
You might have. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey.
I know.
I mean, the simple things I have to teach you. I'm hearing.
I'm hearing it too.
I'm hearing the juice.
Girl, I'm not crazy.
Just stick it up to your beard and then light it.
No way. No way.
Let's have dinner and a show, folks. Hey, guy, 79.
Well, anyways, it's an alternative fuel source, right?
Just know how to work your equipment.
Stop it. You're making me look bad. This is the worst survivalist ever.
You can't even work as Coleman. It's a Coleman.
That goat woman. Stop it.
Well, there's so many different gadgets and gizmos. It's okay.
Well, this thing's just been kind of sitting on the shelf for a while. I don't even know if this came. There it goes. Whoop.
Whoa.
Hold it, Paul.
Okay.
I got it.
Oh, I smell the propane. You're going to light us all on fire, bro.
No, I won't.
No, I smell it.
Oh, stop.
You point it that way. Oh.
I hate it when she does this.
I'm going to sit over here
Oh, knock it
while
off.
he lights up the whole bookshelf in his beard.
There it goes. I told you I would get it. Took a minute. See? And that's the alternative cooking source right there.
Point that at your beard, bro.
Anyway, you get the point. I wasn't supposed to go through all that, but I know it stings. Anyways, but that's the thing. It's like that's an alternative cooking source.
You can boil a cup of water.
And you've got burners in your house. You got electric. You got what's those hot plate things you can get?
Oh, I'm sorry. She said the I am of me donated, but it didn't show up.
No, I didn't see anything.
I didn't either. That's okay. Thank you, though.
I didn't see it. I'm sorry.
We get it. We appreciate it.
I did not see it. The thing, alternative cooking sources, right? The alternative cooking source, like there's different types of like propane. There's
propane accessories.
You can use camp fuels and stuff like that. There's different ones. I have one that I keep in my pack. It's just got it's the R. I can't remember the name brand of it, but it's the Marine Corps version that takes any type of fuel. You can even run diesel in it, and that's one of my favorites. I just didn't want to go grabbing it out of my bag for this because I didn't think I was going to talk about it. But it's kind of like something like that. It's like things that you should have is alternatives, because I mean it might be a few days. If you need some supplies, you have alternate cooking sources until you come up with a better means of cooking. And it's good to have something, right? It's like I can run through these canisters, right? Like a canister like this right here. I could run through this just to do mac and cheese or whatever, pasta kind of stuff. Whatever I'm cooking that day, I could run through and do what I need to do with this for a while until I run out of the source of fuel for this. And then you can refuel these things. There's other canisters you can use to refuel these things. There's tricks to that stuff as well. There's life hacks for that. But if you run through these, you grab a different cooking source that you have, one of your other camp stoves that runs off of kerosene or whatever. There's different weird cooking sources that take different types of fuel. And there's other alternatives to cook stuff. So it's like it's kind of like using a kerosene heater in boiling water. If you've ever done that before, I know a lot of folks have. That, especially us, kind of growing up, we used to do stuff like that because we always had a kerosene heater going all the time, and that was something I was always used to. That was before they put the hazardous warnings for kerosene heaters and stuff.
Yeah,
Daniel
man.
got it. My God, Judge, how you doing?
And coming from California, we never needed that. So I'm like, a what heater?
Yeah, kerosene
What's a
heater.
Kerosene heater.
And wife thought I was tripping when I was like, "Yeah, I'm
The
gonna
I
get
am
that."
of me.
There we are.
Thank
I am of
you.
me. Boom! Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's very
Um,
sweet of you. Thank you.
Thank you. The that
Good
that
job, Tank.
that all falls in. Hey, that all falls into your odds and ends to stock up on. Odds and ends to stock up on is so many different things. You can go on forever. But I wanted to put that on the list. Bulking up the pantry is another thing that you should probably be doing. You should probably.
From Scotland.
It's kind of like before. I said before election time that a lot of folks, if you should do it regardless, but you should always keep some milk frozen. Freeze some eggs. You can even freeze eggs; they'll last. There's a lot of things you can freeze.
Yeah, I saw it's -40 in Alaska. Ooh-wee.
And there's so many things that you
Chuck 'em
can.
outside.
There's so many things that you can put in storage and save up, but you should probably be doing a lot of that stuff already now. In the event that there is some chaotic times, and you should always keep stuff on hand like that. Plan for whatever's going to take place. I don't know if we're at the stage yet where we need to bury everything in the backyard. I know I was always told if it's time to bury it, it's time to use it. As far as firearms go, that's always been. But here's the thing. Cool hand Luke.
Thank you very much.
December 3rd.
Be an Idaho resident.
Oh,
Awesome.
nice.
Boom.
Boom!
Thank you
Mega
very much.
boom!
We are
Big atomic bomb
We're
explosion.
happy you got out of California. That's awesome.
It's good that you're out of there because I know a lot of us are trying to get some of our family to get out of there, and we left there.
You have 5 seconds. You better hurry.
We left there several years ago, and we ain't looked back. No
5
regrets.
seconds. Better hurry up. 1,
Happy
2,
to be where we
3.
are. We've been working. I know. We've been working on security lately, and that's another thing that I wanted to tell you guys about before I got off here and let her have it, because she's going to do some medical stuff. I've been working on security lately. Fences, barbed wire, gates, all sorts of stuff, chains, doodads, locks, padlocks, cameras, you name it. And all the cool stuff that it's involved in that, motion sensors and yada yada. Here's the thing. You've got to harden your location. That kind of goes back to, structural hardening, and it's like extended screws and door latches and things like that. Instead of using tiny little screws, change them out for the mega screws. Doing all this weird stuff, strengthening your locks and all that stuff. There's so many different things you can do for that, but you have to. A good fence makes a good neighbor, and that's another thing. Also goes with keeping your animals on your property and everything else. It keeps your property yours, right?
Yours on yours.
Keep yours on yours. That's what I was told. You keep yours on yours, boy. Anyway,
Okay.
So if you're going to keep yours on yours, which is what I was told, to keep mine on mine, I said, well, you keep yours on yours. But you know, when it comes to animals and stuff like that, you can't just running shock collars and all this other trash just ain't good enough. It doesn't work so great running electrical fence for everything. That stuff does not work for everybody, and not everybody's dog can accept it, especially other animals, right? So you can't keep everything in place without good fencing, and that's. I have another video coming up probably tomorrow or Monday that's going to be on
Bunny therapy. He's making a bunny therapy.
You're so ridiculous.
Video. More YouTube friendly.
I'm gonna be discussing H braces and I'm doing basically I'm doing my own H braces and a bunch of other stuff. A lot of folks out there do cattle fences and stuff know exactly what I'm talking about when I say H braces and dead man posts and stuff like that, and different types of barbed wire techniques and wrapping stuff up. And
Oh, I'm sorry about your bunny.
but I've got that video posting probably either tomorrow or Monday. But you've got to focus on security. That I mean, I can't stress it enough. Right now, we are going to be going into some crazy times, man. There's going to be a lot of folks without jobs. There's going to be a lot of folks. I mean, when you talk this type of environment, there's already states that are legalizing folks to have small doses of heroin.
Yeah.
And you've got states doing stuff like that. You've got legalization of every type of drug imaginable. It's happening right now. You can almost guarantee
like Amsterdam.
It's bad when I hear what my wife talks about every day. I'm not going to mention any of it because it's not right to do. But the things that I hear, you know, when she vents about her awful day or whatever, I think, holy moly, it's like, where are we headed? Because if it's that bad now and we start legalizing a bunch of crazy stuff,
it's nice to see you.
There's KK.
Yeah.
If they start legalizing a bunch of crazy stuff, you can almost, there's Trey's out. There's almost almost a guarantee it's going to get crazier. Okay, I'm just throwing it out there. If we start, it's not going to be right. Security, man. People are going to be stealing stuff to buy more stuff. People are going to be breaking into your place left and right. You got to focus on security. And if people are desperate, they're going to take it. It doesn't matter if you're, if there's a situation of civil war or whatever. It does not matter what the situation is, because someone would still try to break into your home, and you have to focus on security. It's not just that 45. It's not just that shotgun that's going to do the trick, because sometimes you're not home. That goes with, I mean, situations where you're you've got your kids and your kids are just kind of running around your house and stuff, but you don't have that proper security around the house, to keep someone from jumping over the fence or whatever, those types of things. You got to have some backup security, couple of dogs, you know what I mean, or better fencing, or something. You just got to focus on what it is that's going to keep folks out.
Cat army. Cat spread parasitic worms pretty good too, so there you go.
You're so ridiculous.
Win-win in my book.
Well,
raccoons too.
Woman, do you want to talk about your topic now?
I'm actually going to train what is it? A hornets, yellow jackets. I'm just gonna start throwing raw meat at people who come up here, and there goes the hornets right up on you.
You are not right. I'm telling you.
So, well, I figured since all this election crap and all this stressful stuff has gotten my stomach in a deep acid storm.
You smell that?
No. I figured let's talk about gastroenteritis. Itises. Inflamed bowels.
Inflamed bowels.
Let's talk about everybody's inflamed bowels.
It's a good topic, man.
Oh, goodness. Yep.
But it's medical related. And it's important.
It is. It still has a point.
No, it's important.
So the first one I got is Urcinia Gastroenteritis. So
I love these chats.
It is a gram-negative bacteria, for those of you who have antibiotics and books and need to know, well, what microbe is this so I know what antibiotic to use. It's gram-negative. There you go. And this is transmitted in meat and milk. And this sucker can still grow in 4 degrees Celsius.
Ooh.
So freezing won't slow it. And this stuff also can grow in, oh yeah, that's right, blood bags.
Blood bags?
Yeah. So if somebody has this infection in their bloodstream and you donate your blood and you take that person's blood, you get a bad transfusion reaction.
Whoa, really?
Usually it's like spiked fever. Well,
spiked fever, huh?
Spiked fevers, like anaphylactic, like you can't breathe, shock, any of those, but it's very rare.
Wow.
For that side. Signs and symptoms is the lovely diarrhea, fever, headache, abdominal pain, so intense. Some people swear their appendix ruptured. So, but usually appendicitis doesn't cause diarrhea. I had appendicitis once. I had really bad vomiting and stomach pain, but hardcore vomiting. Usually the recovery is 1 to 2 weeks with adults. Kids takes a little bit longer. With this one, you can wait it out, and usually just make sure you take up on your fluids, your electrolytes, and, you know, hopefully have your little home remedies stuff if you don't have Gatorade or Propel.
Propel would work too, right? And anything that has electrolytes, right?
Yep.
To rehydrate.
Right.
Because you need your electrolytes.
Right.
That's right. That's what we were talking about today. I was trying to explain to Baby Bear that was saying, you need water because you need to rehydrate. And I said, well, water's one thing, but you guys are losing a lot of electrolytes being out in the sun. She's like, huh? You know, it's just funny telling the kid. Yeah. The kid's like, what are you talking about? I don't understand what you're saying. What is electro? What? You mean I have power? You mean I can shock people? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's funny. Kids don't understand any of that stuff.
It is pretty funny. But if it's really severe, that's when you might think about wanting to use antibiotics. But otherwise, it's just simple hydration. And antibiotics will just shorten the longevity of it. So maybe for like smaller kids, they might need to use it. Just so they don't die.
Pickle juice has electrolytes.
Hypovolemic shock.
You want some pickle juice, babe?
You got to add a little bit more to that. Add a little bit of anchovy juice to it. That'll be a good concoction. Here's your pickle anchovy juice.
Oh my goodness!
This will make you throw up a little.
This is has some omegas. There we go. Get them omegas going. Some anchovy juice.
That's right. All right. So the second one here, we have Clostridium Pharyngees Gastroenteritis. This is a very common type of microbe in the United States, and it's a very under-recognized one that people get.
Keep a few bottles of. Yep, it's good. Pedialyte. We keep Pedialyte.
Yeah, we do.
We have a few containers of it. It only lasts for so long. You just got to make sure you cycle it out. It's like a lot of other things that, like baby food and stuff. You got to cycle it out, right?
Yeah. This one's a gram-positive, but it's also an endospore. So these suckers are a little bit more harder to kill off. And that's actually the same bacteria that causes that necrotic, that gangrene. It causes the gas bubbles in the gangrene. So what it does is it creates these gas pockets in your subcutaneous tissues where like all your carbohydrates are stored at. And it turns it into like hydrogen and carbon dioxide acids. So when it builds up and the gas goes and it pops and it spreads the necrotic gangrene into your tissues, and it just does that same chain reaction.
I don't want anything popping and spreading anything all over my insides.
You don't want some hydrogen bombs in your gas?
I'm good. I don't need anything popping and spreading.
So those things,
she always makes it sound so nasty. It pops and spreads.
That's right. like a bunch of little chest bursters all up in your tissues.
I don't want no chest bursters all up in my anything. That sounds it's so disgusting.
Yep. It is very interesting stuff, I think.
Exploding infections.
Yep. So yeah, it like causes that melting, like sloughing, necrotic.
Melting and sloughing now, are we?
Your tissues.
That's so disgusting.
So, also, it's mostly found in meats or meat stews contaminated with the intestinal contents of the animal that's been slaughtered. So, you know, you get old Joe over there that accidentally like disemboweling or whatever, and he cuts in the intestines, and that micro was in the intestines, and it got onto his knife, and now his knife cut into the hindquarters or whatever of the meat, and it's now inside that meat.
Ew.
So there you go.
I love it when she just follows me around with a cup of coffee, just explaining all this stuff to me while I get little cuts from barbed wire on me and stuff. She talks
like, you know,
about
you can get you know, your back muscle spasms so hard they can break from that if you don't have your tetanus.
Brian Holland, thank you so much. Boom!
Appreciate you, buddy.
Boom! Thank you, Brian.
So
I appreciate it.
But yeah, that's where that's found, is just contamination of, you know, the deer and the intestines, and then it gets into your meat. And it doesn't matter if you cook it, because cooking doesn't always kill it unless it's charred to a crisp. Usually it will survive. It will endure the heat.
So the next time
that's the endospores.
So next time one of my survival buddies out there kills a raccoon and starts eating it, I need to tell them about endospores and all that.
I would sleep with one eye open, because chances are he's got worms infecting his brain and his eyeballs, and he probably still a worm dangling out of the corner of his retina.
Well, next time I watch one of their videos, I'm gonna look for that little worm dangling out of their eyeball.
High out of the eye. Hi.
Got them rabies. That's right.
All right.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, usually it's those endospores that survive the heatings. But the good news is, no, you won't get worms from it. Yes, it will eventually die out in your system.
There's always worms. Always worms.
Bad, you just get really bad abdominal pain and diarrhea.
That's all.
Mainly it'll happen about 8 to 12 hours after you ate, and then just hydrate as best you can. That's the only thing, and it'll taper down.
Yeah, you don't want to turn ghost white and pale looking like I was that time.
That's right. It's hypovolemic shock will kill you.
You start shaking.
Matter of hours.
You start shaking. I instantly started I felt cold and was shaking, and it's weird, man. It's the weirdest feeling.
Yeah.
When you get like that.
So, last but not least, the most hardcore of them all is C. diff.
C. diff. That's the one I was telling folks, like when you say, like, nurses will say, would they rather have COVID-19 or would they rather have C. diff? And they say COVID over C. diff, because once you hear all the details of C. diff, it's like, yep, I think I would rather have the survival rate's much better. It's just one of those things. It's horrible.
It is.
It is extremely, extremely horrible.
Would you rather game that we play at work?
Yeah, would you rather game. Yep. It's such a crazy game. Would you rather... I like doing sub questions at the end of those, but would you rather... Anyway.
Right. All right, so it is the #1 cause of death by intestinal infections. It causes mild to severe diarrhea, and I'm talking about as soon as you eat or drink something, it's coming out your pooper, within seconds. I mean, it goes straight through your system because your body is reacting to that organism that's growing in your intestines, and it just wants to keep flushing it out, like cholera and stuff.
Pay close attention to this stuff.
So for everybody that's, stocking up on your antibiotics, you need to think about probiotics as best you can, because that's the #1 cause, especially your I have to write this out because I can never remember off the top of my head. Your fluoroquinolones antibiotics is the #1 cause of getting, as far as antibiotics go, the type of antibiotics will cause C. diff at a higher percentage than if you did like a penicillin or something. So, because that antibiotic will flush out all your good bacteria along with the bad bacteria or the organism, and then that's when your C. diff bacteria that actually grows in everybody's intestines will overpower, and you got just an out of control growth of these microbes, this bacteria. So, and then of course is, another way you can get it is the little poopy spores that can survive for weeks outside the system, unless you bleach.
Yeah.
It's, or you don't wash your hands, and, we'll be over here has C. diff, and he doesn't wash his hands, and he smears it on my Dr. F or something, and then I grab it, and then I'm contaminated.
I was telling someone about C. diff on, I said, I mentioned it, and everybody that was there was like, there was like 4 or 5 people that knew what it was, but then there was like 10 or 15 that were like, what in the heck is C. diff?
Mm-hmm.
I had no clue what that was, and I'm like, oh man. And then one of the things, the most Googled thing is C. diff smell.
Yeah.
C. diff smell is what's Googled the most, I think, out of all of it, is the smell.
I can tell you it's a smell like no other, burden, and once you smell it, you never forget. It's like a rotting carcass.
Oh gosh.
But I always say it just smells like a rotting carcass to me.
And to have it is awful. It's like you when you like,
it's jabroni.
When you like come home and you say, I've had a C. diff patient, don't touch me. Don't come anywhere near me. I've got to decontaminate. You have to go like shower and scrub. And
oh yeah.
It's like, oh my goodness.
That's the only way to kill it is washing your hands and bleach.
Yeah.
So
C. diff smells terrible.
It does. It's there's different smells. You got, bloody poop smell, which is distinctive, but oh gosh, C. diff is just.
These are things that you need to probably know if you get disconnected from society.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if the world goes into this crazy collapse spiral, these are things
sanitation crashes.
Yeah, you should probably know these things, especially sanitation crashes.
Yeah, if you have a mild case, you could get oral hydration. Might work on top of other antibiotics like rifaximin or nitazoxanide. But the thing we use at the hospital, though, that is really going to nip it in the butt is vancomycin, and that's an IV antibiotic. Usually pharmacy has to pre-mix it, and we usually mix it with like a piperacillin or Zosyn. Because it's so powerful, you have to have 2 antibiotics to knock it out, and they have to be strong antibiotics. You can't just take a penicillin, or you can't just think, well, I can just keep rehydrating. You can't keep up with it. If you're constantly having diarrhea out your pooper, you have to go to the hospital and get IV therapy, fluids and antibiotics wise. Because like I said before, I've seen patients where they're just like dropping weight because the stuff's so potent.
Building a rocket ship. As the wet says.
Well, there's another interesting thing that you can do. You can do your own homemade remedy of restoring your good bacteria back in, but we'll talk about that here in just a minute. It's not for the faint of heart. But usually at the hospital, they came out a few years ago with this new probiotic pill that's really strong, but it has to be refrigerated. It's Pharyngees, little white capsule. And those things work really good about keeping up. Like if we have people on hardcore antibiotics, we don't want them getting C. diff, so we give them that. But, so say, well, Sippy, I don't have these antibiotics. I don't have these fancy probiotics. What can I do? Well, you have to think of some type of way to make your own poop suppository or enema.
I knew it was coming. I knew something was coming.
Sounds bizarre, but it has a high success rate from what I've read. Of course, it's not that popular. But if you take somebody who's got no intestinal problems, like BA, so chances are his...
Better not be shoving anything in me.
No.
I'm telling you right now. No, I'm not playing this game.
I don't know how they make these enemas that contain human stool that are packed with natural flora. Get it? Packed.
I got it. She loves my puns. I can't remember what my pun was today that was so funny, but I can't remember. Yeah.
Yeah. But the only thing I can think of is if you do like a little ice cube tray and you freeze like little capsules or something and you just keep pushing it up. Mm-hmm. That might help.
Yeah.
Your body will absorb and take up the good bacteria that way. So just make sure people know that's the pooper tray and don't freeze your ice in that tray or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or just straight up do an enema with a little hose, and people who've given enemas before know what I'm talking about.
You might want to check on that one.
I don't hear any crying.
You want me to check on it?
No. Because that's about it. That's all I got. I'll leave you with that.
Kids, what did you do? I heard something go boom. Anyway. They're hanging on the bookshelf again. Oh well, I'll have to fix it again. It's one of those things. All right, so that's her topic, and for me, I think I'll close with a couple of things here. If you something that you should focus on as well, paper versions for your survival and preparedness library that goes with canning recipes and so much more. If you get one of those with the Stony books, I think I've got a bunch of different ones that I always forget about, like this one here, this Country Skills book. I've got more of these. There's so many other ones I have. I forget that all the different versions. It's kind of like Raising Chickens. It's another, I don't know what she did with that book, but there it is. That's Stories Guide to
Tell me to homeschool you how to read, BA.
What? Raising Chickens, what?
There you go.
What? No, I'm saying it's the Raising Chickens ones. And it's another one on Raising Goats. It's the same company.
Yeah.
And I use these. I only get these types of references because they're the most detailed. This company is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
It's because that company is the same company that did the Raising Goats. And they also did horses, Raising Chickens, all sorts of animals. Raising Horses. And this is another one. The Country Skills book is really good. I've been using it for a lot of things. Key items that you need to get, like a grain machine or something like that. Something to do grains for processing and making bread and so many other things. There's so many different things. It's kind of like doing apple cider. Having a machine to do that. You can make yourself out of wood or whatever, but here's the thing. Those are key items that you should have, or you should try to accumulate right now. If you haven't done that yet, if you go to some of these swap meets and get-togethers and stuff, you should start looking for these types of tools to have. And strengthening your library with stuff like this is much more beneficial, and it's faster. If you get something like this, it's much faster to get on the right track and know exactly what to do, instead of buying a bunch of random books off of like Amazon or somewhere, and you're not too sure if that book's going to have all the answers in it, when this company's been making small books on anything from seeding, gardening, bird houses, dehydrating, everything for chickens, animals, and all that stuff. So it's just good to know that there's certain books that you can get that will have it all, and the right information instead of having a bunch of random books, that it's not too helpful. And that also goes with some of the fencing. It's like the fencing and structure. Like if you don't have a lot of knowledge in building structures like a house or a cold frame or a root cellar or whatever it is. I mean, if you don't have a lot of knowledge, or a smokehouse or a smoker, if you don't have a lot of knowledge in how to do that, it like what exact board should I cut, what size and all that, the exact dimensions. Those books from that company give you the exact dimensions of the item you're building, so you can actually just take their measurements and just use it to build what you're working on. And a lot of times I do stuff like that. I get as close as I can to that actual numbers of the blueprints from stuff like that. So, but that's another thing that I wanted to mention. And inventory, haves, must-haves, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be a calm. I just want to say this. There's one more thing. I mean, like I said, there's going to be a calm before the storm. There's always a calm before the storm. And I saw a lot of folks out smiling and stuff today. I'm like, why are y'all so happy? It's like she's like, I think they're just enjoying their freedoms while they still have them, because it's probably gonna all go away soon.
Yeah.
And I'm saying the same thing. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. And we're all just kind of secretly tucking away and starting to put our fences up and stuff, and
join our beautiful 70-degree day
Yeah.
in November.
I think that probably has a lot to do with what we were seeing today. And I'm like, well, if that is the case, it's like there's going to be a calm before the storm, and when there's the calm, that's when you should definitely be that squirrel tucking your nuts away and getting ready for the fight, because it's probably coming, and we don't know what is coming. And
Ronaldo.
Everything's so uncertain right now. It's a lot of unanswered questions, and I just sit going, wow, I can't believe this is going to happen. And now what am I going to do now? I said I had to deal with this guy as a VP, and I didn't like him, and I said I don't like him now. So
hey, I'm shocked Kanye West didn't get it.
I would have rather have had Kanye West, to be honest with you.
I had to giggle knowing he was in the options list as president.
I just wonder how many people just did write-ins, like Ted Nugent or something. Like, yeah. I just wonder how many people actually did that. Anyways, it makes you wonder. I'm just saying. I guess that's all I've got for tonight. That about wraps it up. That my first section of this was totally complaining about stuff, and which I'm allowed to do. I have to vent every now and then,
Mm-hmm.
and I am a parent. I am a taxpayer. I have a lot to say, and I'm just aggravated. I mean, I want
you are
people
now
to
a
know.
Teacher.
And I am now apparently a teacher.
Put
I
that on your
better
resume.
call the governor and see if I can't get some compensation, some paychecks for that.
Mm-hmm.
I want my $50,000 a year, or $48,000, whichever one they decide to give me. Anyway, but that's all I got tonight. I appreciate you guys and gals coming and hanging out with us. Do you got anything else? You gonna have me close it? You're so quiet. Why are you so quiet?
Just taking in everything. That's all.
That's what she was telling me
I
the
need
other
to
day.
go hug a baby bunny now.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna make birdhouses. Y'all see that? I'm trying to dry these out. I'm gonna make some crazy birdhouses out of it. That's the other project. Make some birdhouses. Why not? Why have some birds? Just easy pest control. All right, anyways, that's all I got. I appreciate you guys and gals coming and hanging out with us. And God bless you guys. Stay sane and take care. Good night, everyone.
Good night.